Welcome home. We are WNST, AM 1570, Towson, Baltimore, and Baltimore Positive. Always doing good stuff around here. This is going to be a fun one because, this thing is going on all summer, so I could promote my lottery tickets and my shows and all of that. But you may hear this in June, July, August, because one of my favorite bands in the land, they put the band back together again. And I honestly thought this band was on tour, what was it, like 2 years ago? 3 no, it was 5 years ago. My hair was short, it is now long. He will be shocked when he sees me at some point on life's highway. Hootie and The Blowfish have put the band back together. They've got the summer camp tour going out here, and quite frankly, Mark Bryan and I, we're like boys going on 30 years now. He's in my phone, I'm in his. I text back and forth, and I knew you were doing this, Mark. I knew all about it. I put all the dates in my calendar when the tour dropped, whenever it was back in the winter. And I'm like, all right, we're going to do Hershey. Can't do that Philly show because it's going to do Merriweather. So I'm looking at all the dates, getting all organized and all this. And I thought, I'm going to reach to Mark. And then next thing I know, I look up, it's like June. And I'm like, oh man, I wonder when the tour starts. And I'm like, dude, you guys have already dropped like 8, 10 shows. I got set list. I know what I am excited. I'm really more excited. You're taking a little break and coming on. So how is the tour going? I get to ask you that in the middle of the tour.
Great, dude. Great. Everything you would hope for. Just packed houses of people who are really excited to hear our music, which is all you can ask for. And then the band sounds great. It feels great. Everybody's tight. It's just all you could ask for, man. I'm psyched. It's even better than I hoped it would be so far.
So I'm going to be the jackass fanboy with you and do what I would do if I only met you once in my life or met Darius once in my life instead of bumping into him Fells Point years ago. But I'd say, do you realize all these years later how much your music means to people? 30 years
You
later, that
know,
when
I,
I hear Hold My Hand, what it means to me?
I don't have. It's hard to answer that question until you see people's reaction from the stage, and you can tell that the song you're playing has affected their life deeply. Sometimes people are crying or they're just overjoyed or whatever it is, and so I'm starting to get that starting to get it.
Did
I
you
am.
get that? Did you get that? I mean, because your thing was meteoric, like after struggle, biggest band in the world, and then there's we're playing a little smaller place, and there's some empty, and then there's and then Darius does his solo, and then all these years later to come out and just see nothing but effing joy. It's gonna be the highlight of my summer. My wife broke her ankle last week, so I don't think she's doing Hershey in a couple. We're trying to get her better. She's looking forward to Merriweather, thinking like by the end of the summer we're good.
Let's
And then you
go.
do this Charleston thing. She's trying to drag me down to Charleston. I go to
Oh,
Charleston for
the
much, but you
riverfront.
guys,
Yeah.
but the joy that you're the highlight of my summer, and I one of the highlights of my summer was you returning the call today and saying I'm home. Let's hang out. You know.
Thanks, buddy. I appreciate that. Well, yeah, I always think of the O's when I think of you, and we're having such a good run right
Well,
now.
you're
It's so
thinking of me
fun
a
to
lot
watch.
then lately.
Yeah, exactly, dude. Exactly. It's just nice to be to have the team be in the place they're in right now with the new ownership and the direction we're headed in. The players are so fun right now. This is really really fun. My son Kenny is out on tour with us this summer, working hard, doing merch and all this stuff,
What the
and
hell's your kid?
and he's great. He's 24,
All
and
right.
so he said to me, "Hey, Dad, can we split the Major League Baseball package so we can watch the O's?" And I'm like, "Absolutely, buddy." So for the last 2 seasons, he and I've been really keeping up with it together, and it's fun that he's didn't even grow up in Maryland and has still picked the O's as his team. And
Did
so
you
we've
do
had
the
we
Nationals thing? Did you dalliance with that, or did you not? Were you a Nationals guy?
so I would still call them my National League team, but after talking with my boy Scott Van Pelt, he put it very very clear and cleanly: one man, one team. And so I'm O's all the way. And if I'd love to see an O's Nats World Series at some point, I think it'd be fun. But I'm O's. I'm gonna be rooting for the O's if that happens.
Your kid has national stuff in his closet, or no? He's
No,
24. I
no,
mean,
he's all Orioles, dude. He's all Orioles.
do
It's great.
like his background as a old now a man, all of these years have slipped away for us. You've had a much better 30 years than the Orioles have had. I'll just say that, over the course of time here.
Yeah, no, it's sad because as a kid, he came on, and my teams were the Skins and the Orioles and the Terps and everything. And Terps won the Natty in '02, but he was like 3 years old. He didn't get to experience that or whatever. So all the teams he sort of supported behind his dad have just, it's been a nightmare for him until the O's have finally come around. So this has been good. And we actually went to a couple of games last summer. I got back up to the yard for the first time in years, and he and I went to a couple of games, and it meant a lot. It was really cool.
So I deep back to the beginning of our relationship, and you guys singing national anthems at Camden Yards and playing at Merriweather, and the first album into the Fairweather, and like all of that. When I met you and we would do radio together, you had the good football team, Joe Gibbs, and we shared the Orioles, and we shared like, it's been a decade or whatever. Now we're 40 years. Time why you punish me. 40 years into this, right? And we haven't won. And there's something about, like, my kid's 39. He doesn't know. I mean, 39,
Right.
he doesn't know, right? And there's this thing for this year for even people like you. Joan Jett calls 98 Rock and whatnot, and people be listening and they don't know of your Oriole background. A lot of people don't know Hootie's got like roots firmly planted in what used to be Oriole soil, and certainly former Commander Redskin soil down. But you're a Maryland kid. You got, I mean, Silver Spring by and by and by, Lord, by and by.
Yeah, I remember when the O's went to the World Series against the Pirates in 1977, I believe it was, and I was, I
79.
guess,
I just want to get it right for you. 79. That's all right.
So no, okay, so I was 12 years old, uh, one of the games was like October 10th, and my dad got us tickets and took me down to Memorial Stadium, and it snowed out, Nestor.
I
The
remember that.
freaking game snowed out on October 10th. And so I did the only World Series game I was ever going to get to go to as a kid snowed out, which was kind of cool. But that's how long I've been a fan, and how long I've been a part of it. And so this is a really special time right now.
Rutschman or Henderson, who they got to give the 250 million to first, or 500 million
Well,
at this point?
I don't know, man. You take your pick. They're both great, dude. How do we keep them both? Let's go.
All right, let's get to the band. Let's get to the tour. Let's get to the hows and the whys. I swear to you on my life, I thought you went out in 21 or 22. And I'm thinking, no, I don't remember the mask part of it. And then I found the picture. I saw you guys up at Saratoga. I saw you 8 times on the last tour. But I swear, months are becoming years and years are becoming decades quickly. It's been 5 years, so I shouldn't say how, why, or whatever, just sort of time to put it back together. But I would think all of this really revolves around Darius and all of you at this point. But Darius has like this thing that's grown, and he's still rock and roll to me. I'm still Donnie, he's Marie, but this country thing. But putting the band back together is a major thing for all of you, and I think for all of us. We've been 5 years. Let's go. I want to shake my ass. Come on now.
Me, I'm always in. So like, I love to play. I've always been that way, and music is my passion. Always has been. So I'm usually in on anything that makes any just modicum of sense at all. I'm in.
Cancun,
So
let's do a thing. We're in,
yeah.
right?
So, but
Yeah.
it comes down to all four of our schedules and lives coming together at the right time to be able to do something like this. Not just Darius's, but certainly Darius's, and the fact that he still has the desire to do that, this is exciting for all of us too. So why not? Why wouldn't we take advantage of it every chance we get?
When you say he has the desire, you don't have to peel back the onion here. This isn't that behind the rock star and all that. But when you guys do get together, there's money, but there's logistics, and there's playing and physically that you don't have a sore arm or a broken shoulder or a raspy voice, all of those things that make it happen. As I get older, and I only bring this up because you guys are old like me, but you're not that old. I saw the Stones 2 weeks ago, and I'm seeing Mick out
True.
here doing this thing, right? I mean, Willie Nelson and Dylan are going out, and for some people, it's oxygen. I mean, I saw Sting with the Philadelphia Symphony Orchestra a couple of months ago. I'm seeing bands go out now, solo artists in different ways, redoing their music. When you guys go out, man, it's a Hootie show. And it's when you put that together, I don't know what the negotiation of that, but getting together and finding a reason to go do this for 6 months, I think that's hard for any four people to do, for any
Man,
band that stays together to do it,
yeah, but it's the truth is we really don't need a reason. We're doing it out of love. We're brothers and friends, and we've created this special thing together, and we still get to do it. And I think we all have that approach. We all have that feeling about it, and not once has it ever come down to like we need to do it financially or we have to do it because of somebody's career or something. It's just like, hey, this feels right. Let's do it, and it's been like that. It was like that 5 years ago, and it's like that this time too. And so because of that, everybody's enjoying it for all the right reasons.
Edwin McCain running around with you guys. You're bringing all your OGs, right?
Exactly, dude. It's like it's just like the old days. And we even named the tour again Summer Camp with Trucks, which he came up with back in the '90s, which is a genius name. And so yeah, it really does feel pretty full circle.
What's the most fun about this? For being with people you like, being with families, your kids on the like
It's a combination of everything. There's a warmth out there around the fact that we've known all, including Collective Soul. We've all known each other for 30 plus years now, and so there's a warmth around the friendships. And then, but I think the biggest warmth you get, and all the friends feel this too, is from the crowd and from like these packed houses. And you go out there at 7 p.m. when Edwin starts, and it's still light outside, and there's even the lawn's packed at that point. Like everyone's there even to see Edwin. And there's this giant warmth at every show. Everybody, and then the music gives you that nostalgic feeling and adds to it. And it's just this all encompassing thing. And it feels really great to be back on tour.
I know you write your own music. I've had you on talking about solo shows, and you come out and do all that. And then when I go to your website, I'm expecting golf. I'm expecting charity and sports and all the things that I've been seeing at Hootie World and Hootie.com forever and ever and ever since you guys were one of the first bands to kind of have a website and moved your music in that direction 30 years ago. Covers. And you guys have albums of covers that you've turned me on to songs. I mean, I think of Use Me and I think of different stuff like that you guys covered 30 years ago, that you were always a band that loved playing bar songs, right? Like, I mean, maybe that was even the genesis of how y'all met each other and became friends. But
Truly.
for what it's worth, you've done the Buffalo Springfield song and Stephen Still song. I mean, guys, you were Drowning 30 years ago, long before Trump. Thoughts about picking covers and picking songs? You guys were doing Stone Temple Pilots songs in your prime and theirs at the end of shows when you could have, should have been doing your own songs. But Pearl Jam was another one of those bands always doing cover songs. You guys just loved music. And I think at this point I would say, well, you're working on some new material and you guys are working up covers all the time that keep me kind of fresh.
Yeah, we actually recorded this a couple years ago when we were in the studio, and never released it. And so we figured the timing of it is as good now as it's ever been for the song. And we were going on tour. Why not? So that was our release for this year. Is that cover For What It's Worth by Buffalo Springfield. But I did go ahead and make a whole album anyway, even though Hootie didn't this time. I just had a bunch of songs as usual. So got a new album coming out this fall. I'm dropping singles all summer long. The second of which comes out this Friday. So the album is going to be called Popped, Popped, and I'm really excited about it.
Well, are you going to go out and do what you usually do? This is a long summer for you, but I mean, you love to go out and support them, especially your own music, to go out and play it, right?
How about next year? It'd
That's
be
what I
cool to
mean.
put
That's what
together
I
a
mean.
series of
Yeah.
shows next year. Yeah, like I'd love to come up and play a good Maryland, DC show. Thinking about the Fillmore in Bethesda or something cool like that, and maybe do some dates like that to support this release. Yeah, that'd be great.
How does that work in a creative way where Darius goes off, has his own very successful thing? You've been doing your solo thing the whole time. I would think that's almost, you don't write it that way when you're in the band and you're 21 and trying to make it, but almost the best of both worlds at this point, that you get to do that
Absolutely.
thing, this thing,
Yeah.
you could do anything. All four of
I
you.
sure wish that we were making a Hootie record this time around. Certainly I do. Like that would be my first choice. But again, like I was saying earlier, everything has to line up in all four of our lives for something like that to happen. And so the fact that didn't happen this time is okay. And So I'm not going to just leave, as I've always said to everyone, Nestor, I'm not going to just leave all these songs sitting around on the floor of my studio. So that's why I'm making my fifth solo album, or releasing my fifth solo album, because I've got to find a place for the music, and so that's what I do. And if during that time it gets to be a Hootie project, that's even better. But either way, I'm going to make the records because it's what I do. It's what I love to do. It's what I feel like it's what I'm here to do.
I never would have known about one of the songs that I have fallen in love with all these years if you had not made Scattered, Smothered, and Covered. Now, almost 25 years ago, you made this album, song called I'm Over You by a band called The Silos, that I've gone back. I've heard your version so much. Your version is the version for me because I never really heard the other
Sure.
version. Driver 8 and the other songs that you did that are I hear them both ways, including Zeppelin songs. I hear both ways now with you guys. And I guess it's because of Darius's tonality as much as anything. But I'm Over You and picking those kinds of songs. And I guess this was you guys being a young band and hearing stuff. People are not familiar with that song. It's one of the best driving song that I've ever heard. And I hear your
Truly.
version. It took me 20 years to find to hear the original version on YouTube. Maybe 10 or 15 years ago, I heard the original version. I'm like, yours is different. I like yours better than the original. I wouldn't tell Walter that,
I mean, it's a great song either way. Like that half of Scattered and Smothered and Covered is us just playing our favorite songs from college, like that, like like I'm Over You and Araby and stuff like that. And then the other half was stuff where we were asked to do certain projects, like the Roy Orbison song that we did, Dream Baby, was for whatever John Travolta movie was out at the time. I can't remember, but we got asked to do that song for the soundtrack, so we cut it, and then so some of those kind of things ended up on Scattered Smothered Covered, and then others were like B-sides, like I said, of our favorite college songs. And I think it's a cool record.
Well, you guys always did covers, and I had to figure out, will the circle be unbroken? Like, where's that? I mean, I didn't grow up in the South. You know what I mean? So, you introduce stuff way above and beyond Hold My Hand to a lot of people.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't grow up in the South either, other than Maryland is south of the Mason-Dixon line technically. But that was one of the songs that Darius just started singing when we were doing like acoustic stuff. We were doing like acoustic bluegrass sessions with the mandolin and all that, and so Darius brought out that song as a spiritual that works really well in that setting, And then we all start harmonizing, and the next thing you know, we're bringing it out on stage.
Well, it's a staple too, right? You still doing it?
That's how we intro the song from Musical Chairs that we do. God capture me to set me free, Desert Mountain Showdown. We intro it with Circle Be Unbroken.
Well, I can't wait to get out on the road. Hootie and The Blowfish is out on the road. Mark Bryan, the fantastic guitar player, and he's homegrown right here in the state of Maryland, down in Silver Spring. Even though I'm still busting his balls about his bad football team down there, is that ever going to get fixed? I mean, you're still a fan, right? You got W's, you bought the new gear, the whole thing, right?
We've got new ownership there too. Both of my squads now up there, the Orioles and the Skins, are headed in the right direction now. We're headed in the new and right direction. That feels great. So I feel really good about the Skins. I'm still calling them that. I have not accepted the new name yet. I still think there's a chance they might change it at some point, but I guess it's not going to be for this year, or we would already heard about it. Maybe not. You never know. Maybe they'll pop a surprise on us here in the next couple of weeks. But anyway, that's still my squad. Always will be. I'm excited about the future. Daniel, I mean, we'll see where that goes, but that has a lot of promise. So
we don't talk about them up here. It's all purple up here. We have Lamar, have the MVP. Hey, we're pretty good here.
Same thing as baseball, man. Ravens would be my AFC team. I would definitely. I don't know why there's so much hatred between Skins and Ravens fans, but maybe it's healthy for the league to have that little rivalry there or whatever. But I like the Ravens. I have no problem with the Ravens.
You can all agree we don't like the Eagles, right? Can we agree on that?
Oh yeah, cannot stand some Eagles. Only team I hate worse than the Eagles is the Texas team, that team from Texas that I will not name.
Yeah, we play them week 3 down in the big place.
They're good
Mark, for
too.
you with sports, and our relationship over 30 years, you guys came to town. You were a coming band. My producer loved your album. You're playing the Warner Theater. Next thing I know, you golf. You're into the Orioles. I find out you're a local-ish kind of band, and you like so all of this sports. Darius is singing about the Dolphins, and then somehow you fell in with Dan Patrick and the ESPN group. You were sort of the ESPN band, at that particular time from a rock standpoint, but also the golf and the fact that, I mean, I remember running into all you at a soccer match at RFK Stadium and talking to Sony and Dean. And Beckham was playing, I think, that day. You're a sports band to some degree. What sport still moves you? I mean, you're watching the Orioles every night? What golf? You guys still doing your golf thing every year at the Masters?
Yeah, watching the Orioles pretty regularly, and then golf is the main sport that I play still. Once or twice a week. Once the tour comes around, we get a little busier and play, even 2 or 3 times a week. Darius tries to play every day before a show, and I do every day that I can. And so that's really the main one. And I do follow golf too. I have not been following the Live Tour, but I still love following the PGA Tour. Can't help myself. I find myself on Sunday afternoons, looking for an exciting finish, and it happens almost every week.
Oh, I mean, it's not. So you guys get on a bus in Columbus and then get off the bus in wherever, name some other place, and then you go play golf and you come back and you towel off and then you go out and you jump around like a hyena for 2 hours singing these songs.
That's right.
You get back on another bus. That's what you play golf on the road, seriously, all summer long.
Yeah.
100
We
degrees in Atlanta, you're out playing golf somewhere.
well, we try to play early, try to get out before it turns 100.
You're a rock star. How the hell do you
And
get out
then
of bed early? What do you mean?
it's
You're the
hard,
first
dude.
rock
It's
star
hard.
I've ever met that gets out of bed
That's
early.
why I don't play every day, because also I have sound check at 2:30 every day. So I'm trying to get it in before sound check and before it gets too hot. And then I can rest after sound check and before the show. And that's the schedule I'm on right now, dude. I'm 2 weeks into it, and it's pretty fun.
Oh, it's summer camp. You play rock and roll all night, you play golf all day, somebody else drives the bus. Once in a while, some guy like me, you got to deal with me and come on and talk about your music, but you're having a pretty good summer, Mark. Good for you.
I am. I definitely am. And I'm working myself hard too with having this solo album out with Pops coming out, and I'm doing a lot of work to promote that. And then I also have a beverage that I've been involved with called High Seltzer, HI Seltzer, and I've been doing a lot of work with that too, trying to spread the word about that. It's a federally legal Delta 8 infused, Delta 8 and Delta 9 infused THC, seltzer. No alcohol, no sugar, no carbs. It's this really healthy approach to catching a buzz.
I am checking
And
this out right now. I've never heard of something.
yeah,
So I'm sponsored. My shirt's from Curio Wellness and Foreign Daughter. We doing a whole educational series on where all these products come from and how they're different. And look, it's like I say every time I have a run, we all got hammered and drank this and drank that during shows in the park, tailgates. I spot Budweiser, Miller. I've been selling booze here for 35 years to get whatever booze gives you, right? Certainly, this is a different thing we're talking about here.
it is. It's the future. It's a refreshing change, is what it is. It's a really healthy alternative. And I've been involved with it about a year and a half, and it's done nothing but back itself up the whole way. The taste, the flavor profiles, everything we're doing is just right, and I'm really excited about it. We're in about 20 or 30 states now with distribution, and getting bigger as we go. And I no offense to a lot of the other brands out there, but it seems like my partners have come up with the right formula for this that beats every other brand. It's 5 milligrams per can, so very approachable. It's not going to knock you on your ass. And the most impressive thing we're doing is that it's water infused, not oil infused like a gummy. And so it hits you in real time and gives you no brain fog afterwards. It's a really clean experience. It pours clean and everything. I call it the drinkable instead of the edible. It's a drinkable.
Who's just gonna be on the VIP backstage for one of the show? Because I need to try something. Like pineapple, real cherry, lemon lime, tropical pack, and you got to be 21 to go to the website. So I saw that on the way in. But HI seltzers, SELT. Seltzers, you know how to spell seltzers. Hootie and The Blowfish, they're out on the road all summer long. I'm going to see some of the shows, most of the shows, and this thing for your solo, there's a finite end to this summer camp tour at some point. So I'm not selling anybody on, hey, we're getting in the studio next year and doing. This is for fun and for this summer, and come catch it while
Yeah,
you can with Evan McCain and
that's
Clever
exactly
Soul,
right.
right?
Yeah. Like I said, I'd love if we were going to make a new record, but that's not happening right now. Not saying it won't ever happen again, just not happening on this particular tour or this year. So we're just enjoying the tour. It's the 30-year anniversary of Cracked Review on July 5th. And we're having a blast playing with each other and getting out in front of all these awesome fans.
I got to give you one more thing before I go because I wrote this down because I was on your website and you got some vinyl thing you're selling on the Cracked Review and the 30-year anniversary. And I'm thinking to myself, lately, like the last 5 years, because vinyl was a pain in the ass. It melted. It was hard to store. It was heavy as hell. I had friends that had stacks of them. And then we went to CDs. You were very much a CD band. I mean, hell, you were getting ripped off by the streaming pretty quickly, I would think, with the Napsters during your era. The vinyl part of all of us who loved Led Zeppelin, and you see my belt buckles. I got all my Pacifica belt buckles from 78 and 79 here. Vinyl's like coming back, and I would be the profile 55. I love music. I love for it to sound great, like all of that stuff. I don't understand the vinyl thing, and I certainly don't understand the kids getting it, but it's like a real thing, right? Vinyl. Look at you. He's showing me. You're showing me your turntable, are you?
Yeah,
What?
I've got this new Wilco album on
Oh,
right
you're
now.
dropping Wilco, are you, on
Yep.
me?
And that's a cool little piece of memorabilia
Get a
there.
little pick there. All right, it's a real Hootie
Giant
pick.
pick. Yep.
All right.
But yeah, so I love vinyl and I think it's cool as hell. And you know, it's sort of like you said, it's old school and it gives me that feel. It gives you that vintage feel of like, hey, you know, the crackles come on and everything, and then you have to flip it when the side ends. And I don't know, there's something about that. It's a different way to listen to music. You can't do that in your car. You know, everyone's in your car. Everything you listen to is around the music. You know, this is kind of nice where it's like it's the old way to listen. It's really cool.
Man, you're a
And
true
also,
artist.
well, I am an true artist, but I'm also a big fan. And so I think there's a whole thing of the package that comes with vinyl for the fan, where you have more
Liner notes,
photography and the
man.
liner
Liner
notes
notes are
and
over.
yeah. And so I think that's a big thing for vinyl, where you can still do all of this. The only platform that you can still do all of that, you know.
I got Thomas Dolby did the show this week. Thomas, She Blinded Me with Science, 80s. He lives here in Baltimore. He came on and we got to talk, and he's like a real serious music dude too, right? And we got to talking about how we listen to music. And I always say to my wife, this is my phone. This is not an Apple where I'm getting interrupted with notification. Like, music to me is a separate thing. And about a year and a half ago, I sucked it up. Christmas time, I went online and I bought an iPod Classic with a friggin' cord. It has hold on, here it's right here. I got it right here because I carry. This is it. This is my this. So, and it took me a long time to get to this because I carried CDs everywhere because I was never a Walkman guy. But there is something about how we find our music and where we get it that is incredible. And the reason I like this is albums are heavy. I can't take them with me. I can take this anywhere I want to go. It's not Bluetooth. I don't have those little wet things in my ear. I don't have any of that. I'm old school, but it's almost new school because this isn't old
So
school.
I
Old school is what
what
you
I
got.
love about that, what I love about new school listening is listening on my phone, is the ability to jump around from song to song, or not even finish a song and just like,
Or make a
oh, that
playlist.
yeah, like yeah, or make a playlist and I want to hear these songs back to back, or hey, I only want to hear 30 seconds of the song. That's not what I was thinking it was gonna be. I'll just jump to the next one or whatever. I love all of that about digital listening. And then what I love is the opposite about that with analog listening. Nobody's going over and just skipping tracks on the record. You just let the record play. And so you end up hearing everything that artist wanted you to hear. And otherwise, I'm not going to hear it. I'm going to skip. If I'm on my digital, I'm looking for the songs I want to hear, and I end up skipping. When I listen to a record, I end up hearing the songs that I never thought about or didn't know I was going to hear. And that to me is real listening. And that's where, when I was a kid, that's how I found all these really cool songs and deep cuts, and how I fell in love with artists was from listening to the whole record. And so that's one of the things I like about vinyl is you put it on and then you go about your day around your house doing whatever you do, and it's on the whole time. And you get to hear everything that artist wanted you to hear. And I think there's something to be said for that. Not a lot of people listen like that anymore.
AOR, album oriented rock, right? Album, the whole out, Pink Floyd, the
That's right.
whole thing. Rush,
That's right.
you get past Tom Sawyer and you get Red Barchetta. You get why
That's right.
you
That's
flip the
it,
album,
dude.
you get the camera eye, and you get Vitals. So
So you know
here's
what I'm talking about.
well, but for me, I didn't have that with you. You were not that band for me. You were a CD band for me. So I hear your songs in order from the first. Like, I'm waiting for the next song at the ending of one. Like, you didn't know the name of your own song a minute ago because it all kind of runs together. So right here, I have 116 songs that are Hootie songs. Just because you showed me yours, I'm showing you mine. That I have this. Does it piss you off that I have from 30 years ago a bootleg CD that's it's
No,
really good quality? You open with Hannah Jane and it's electric. You did Hannah Jane, Only Want to Be With You, I'm Going Home, Hold My Hand, I Go Blind, Let Her Cry, Look Away, Time, Drowning. And then there's 3 acoustic, Hannah Jane, Hold My Hand, Only Want to Be With You. I bought it from Bart over at Vinyl Discoveries. It was a boot in the 90s. I'm sorry. I feel like Rerun and Dwayne on What's Happening. I'm sorry. But I still have it on my iPod, and it's still friggin' awesome you guys doing acoustic versions of Hannah Jane for me from back when you were kids.
I'm calling the cops, dude. This is just way too far.
Is this
No,
going to
you're right.
affect
It's like
me not getting a high seltzer before the Hershey show?
it's like rerunning Rods when they were sitting with the Doobie Brothers. I remember that. You're like, which Doobie you be?
Taking it to the street. That's all I'm talking about. Mark Bryan is here. He is not scattered, covered, and smothered. He's smothered in love. The Hootie Tour. The boys have put the band back together. Dean, Sony, Darius. Is Whole Sapple out with you guys?
No, Peter is he's still doing music, but he's not doing it with us right now. He's down in North Carolina doing his thing
He's
in a
going
couple of
back out
different
with his
bands.
band, right? He's going
Yeah.
back out with the
Mhm.
DBs, right?
Yep.
So
Yeah,
I
I know he's
wasn't
been
sure
doing
if
some
he
stuff
was
with
out, but
them.
you
Yeah.
know I have a crush on him. You know that, right?
Oh yeah, who doesn't, man? He's so awesome, and we stay in touch. I talked to him right before the tour, and I'm hoping that we'll see him when we come through North Carolina. Um, and so for support now on keyboards, we have a guy named Lee Turner that was doing that's in Darius's band when he tours, and he's great.
Nice.
He's become a great friend, and it's cool. A lot of these Nashville guys do 2 jobs on the road. It's really cool. Like our fiddle player also will drive the bus. He's a co-driver sometimes, and Lee Turner, our keyboard player, also does the VIP experiences for the fans and stuff like that. So it's kind of a cool Nashville thing where everybody's it's an industry thing. They're all willing to work really hard. It's good being involved with these guys.
Shoot some video backstage, you guys playing and do some B-roll because it looks like you guys are having a good time. I can't wait to get together. Can't wait to jam
You
with you
know it.
guys. Hershey,
Say hey to Rosie.
Merriweather, Philly, Camden. They're coming up, Manassas. They're playing everywhere. Come on out. Mark will not be bringing his turntable with him. He's just going to bring his guitar and his mandolin and pile in and play on. Love you guys. Thanks for making my summer. You guys don't tour this summer. I'm sitting here with a wife with a broken ankle. I'm going to scoop her up, get her on the wheelie, and we're going to get her up onto the lawn so she can go blind with you guys. All right.
I like it, Nestor. Thanks, buddy. Always good connecting with you, my friend.
Mark Bryan can be found at hootie.com. He can also be found on the interwebs. He has a solo album coming out, and that usually brings him back to home, which is a little south in that Montgomery County kind of, PG County kind of area, but he calls the Orioles his, and that's all that really matters around here. I am Nestor. We are WNST, AM 1570, Towson, Baltimore, and we never stop talking Baltimore positive.